Yeah, I think I was trying to talk about Kirby, and I think I was trying to say
Yeah, you're
that
talking about Kirby, about the engine reset game.
the engine reset game, and in this case, I'm not going to confirm that I know 100% this is an actual engine reset, but it feels like an engine reset game in the sense that they're doing a lot of things from scratch, and they're like ditching some of the progress that was made in the last games.
That makes
So
sense.
when you engine reset Resident Evil, when you engine reset Monster Hunter, you go into a brand new shiny like world, but it has less of the classics that were ready and waiting from the most recent
Yeah, so
games.
for Rise, we're finally back up to like the old monster numbers, for example.
Uh-huh. And in the case of Kirby, what that means is powers and the sophistication therein, right? So it's just a demo we're going off of. Hard to say, but it feels like as a result of switching over to this new 3D world, which was used in Star Allies as the overworld. So in Star Allies, you control Kirby on a map that is like the 3D that you're getting in Forgotten Land, but you just jump into the next level, right? And
Right.
now to make that the actual like main way the game is played, a lot of the powers that were in the previous games had tons and tons of pages of moves and sophistication. Like I would say I mean, they made a Kirby fighting game, and every power has like 2-3 pages worth of unique moves for each power. Um, it was really cool, and that's my favorite shit, right? That's what gets me
Right.
into these things because I like the whole like multiple power absorption thing, but like Mega Man has that in a very basic sense. You usually get the charge shot and then a regular shot, but in Kirby's case, you have like a fuck ton of things you can do when you pick any given power, and then you add the combiners from like 64 and stuff like that. It just gets incredible. So the move list of the stuff in Forgotten Lands is now looking pretty well. First of all, it doesn't exist in the demo. But what you can feel is something that's like back to kind of basics. And I was able to find like a couple of like not so obvious moves, like while blocking.
Hmm.
If you have the sword and you attack, you can do like a stinger, and then if you can follow that up with like a
Oh, cool.
launcher, and then in midair you can then do a spin into a helm splitter. Um, that stuff is like so that's like there's like one extra layer there. Or with the advanced form of the bombs, you could like chain them together into tether to create like 5 bombs that are all like tethered and shit. And it seems like there's going to be these different levels to the power ups that'll give them more moves, but it does still seem like we're going to be far from the like 4 pages of options you had with each power up in the past. So they're kind of like bringing it back to some simple basics in order to make this new engine or this new approach to Kirby games like
Would you
work.
say that this is the DMC2 of Kirby games?
No, because that implies DMC2 levels of bullshit and making it a
Uh,
bad game. And I didn't
hmm.
feel that at all. I felt like this was fun. Um, I don't mind at all the game. It certainly felt like it was going to be a fun Kirby game. I just hope that by the time we make it through to the release and we see what these power ups look like, that they don't end up being a super shadow of their comparison to what they used to be. So the sword is going to have less moves. That's okay, but please have some as opposed to just like two. You know.
Yeah, I can feel like you use Monster Hunter as an example. The next Monster Hunter game is not going to be as hyper as Rise.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So a lot of those moves are going to go, and they're going to go with a slightly larger that compared to World unified move set, because that's what they always do. They always do like a grounded one and like a hyper one with every feature you can imagine, and then they junk all the ones that didn't work
And
or
then
weren't that good.
go back to some fundamentals. Yeah, I think that this leveling up system, it might just be the thing I'm looking for. It might just be like maximum sword level will have all that old shit. But for now, um, with the powers, with a single ability being leveled or being split into a couple different levels, it definitely makes me think you're gonna not have as many power ups as you did at the end of like Star Allies, where there was so many, you know, and like
Who
something.
knows though, right? Like nobody knows how long this game is. It could
Nobody
just
knows how long the game
go and go and
is.
go.
Exactly, right? Or like a situation like Planet Robobot where it's like, well, this is a single serving game where the robot powers are all going to be used for this setting and then that's going to be it, you know? It'd be super sick to see that shit come back, but either way. That's so the engine reset
But
game is the term I'm going to go
you,
with.
you don't get that. You don't get the feeling from this one that this is like a Kirby game for babies, like say like an Epic Yarn, which was like
Well,
like Kirby for baby.
well, every Kirby game is for babies, but then it stops being for babies.
Hey, I didn't say it.
That's the
I didn't
magic
say
of
that.
Kirby. Every Kirby game is for babies, and then it stops being for babies. That's what they are. But yeah. But there was also some other discoveries. For example, when you do the dodge, like at the last second from a hit, you get some witch time, right?
Seriously.
You get some slowdown effects going. So there is some stuff that's in there that was just maybe not immediately obvious in the demo. And you did pick
Maybe
up.
it's just hidden real deep.
Yeah, well, usually you pause this game and you see a bit of lore, and then you scroll sideways and then you see some moves, you know? So I hope we get something like that. You also picked up some signs of like the companies on this destroyed planet that you're on, you know, and some implications, I guess, as to like who these, what this planet was before it got overrun and destroyed, and who the megacorps were, and possibly, you know, how it all went bad, and the signs possibly implying that there was some mega corporation war that could have possibly totaled everything. So, you know, the Kirby Automata vibe is correct. Like it's going to do
And
things
it's
in
time
both
for
places.
it's time for our marshmallow throat goat to solve everything.
Yep. You don't have to see any dead bodies, but you just gotta watch him gluck, you know. So, yeah, no, it was
That
the what?
hurt me. That
Yeah,
hurt me.
no, the one that hurt me was, I mean, as it's so funny because I played through it and you know having fun, and seeing the modes and just like having the natural reaction one does to it, and um, you know, and then you getting the comments of people that are just like, if this is gonna be the whole video of this is fucking unwatchable, immediately followed by yes, yes, die more on the inside, Wooly. You know, and someone else who the way they phrased it, because in the when mouthful mode debuts, he swallows the car, but he swallows the foxes first, right? So
Right.
the important detail here is that before the car, in between the car and Kirby, are those foxes that got swallowed. And because the swallow process was never fully completed, because the car is sticking out of his mouth, the foxes are still alive, stuck on top of the car, in between the Kirby flesh and the car itself. And the term that was used by this commenter was the enemies have been vac bedded between the car and Kirby, and I'm like, oh,
You gotta stop, man. I'm gonna
oh,
sweat.
oh man, vac bedded voring has occurred.
Don't like it. Do you see? Do you see the? Do you see the outline of the foxes struggling to get out through the top of Kirby's head?
Struggling, but also maybe one of them might be enjoying it.
Like, do any of them have erections?
That's the problem.
Are the erections visible from through the top of Kirby's
You can
head?
tell. That's the problem, is that you can tell. This is the worst. It's just the worst. There's nothing salvageable. It's just it's all bad.
So, let's try and put ourselves in the let's just put ourselves in the alternate reality of ourselves as maybe younger, don't know about vor or sex shit, creepy people or whatever, and it's just the cartoon, like, oh, I ate a big candy, now I'm the size of the candy, or you know, whatever. the car is what ruined it. Literally, the car won because it shows Kirby like stretched to nightmare proportions, but like with the car half in.
Yes.
Like in
The
cartoon logic, it's
innocence.
always I ate a mailbox. Now I'm a mailbox
Absolutely.
shaped cartoon character.
Yes, and they actually, like, there's all the other ones where, again, not as bad, right? Though the hole is still rough, because you see the pink inside of through the hole when you're looking at Kirby. So the goat image is unignorable. You cannot. You have to confront it. And furthermore, the pylon, upon closer inspection, he's not just wrapped around the top of the pylon while the bottom protrudes. He's wrapped around the cone top and half of the bottom.
Oh.
So the only protruding part is just half of the base of the pylon. And it's
oh man, I hate this.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
No, big uncomfortable. Make no mistake. But in any case, fun Kirby game, and fun little basic introduction to where we're going. We got to fight a boss fight. The boss fights are now. This is what's interesting. So, to just go back to
fight that fucking tree.
it was no, it was a big gory. It was a big angry gorilla. So, what you got in Star Allies, again, you had all these powers that were introduced and like brought up to the maximum level, and then the overworld was the 3D world that we're getting to play in now. And then when you go into the final boss, okay, so this is the part where midway through my talk, you got something. What's going on?
I no, it's there's not a new thing. It's just
Okay.
like this. I'm just upset.
Yeah,
in a way that is making me giggle.
Okay, no, that's good. Upset. That's good.
I'm just trying to keep it together out here.
Well, so anyway, the point is the last boss of Star Allies is a big old fight that is 3D environment, camera massively focused on the enemy in the center of the stage, third person action game giant boss, and here a number of the bosses in the game are shown off to be that way, and it seems like this is going to be the new way to fight. And like even when you get into the Kirby games have mid-stage bosses where you fight like any of the special power dudes, the big hammer guy, or like Chili, and all that stuff. They are now going to lock you into this circular arena as well, and you're going to have this like circular third-person duel with the bosses and mini bosses. So that's cool because like the final boss of Star Allies being set up in that way, it was actually pretty fun to control. It was a new thing, but it worked out, and they've now turned that into the formula for how all the boss fights are going to go. And it feels it feels pretty fun to like dodge and rotate, especially with the co-op mode going. I certainly hope that you get the ability to have co-op let them control whoever they want their friend to be, because right now just being Bandana D is like a little limited. Surely it's
that dude sucks.
He's cool, but you want more than Bandana D.
But like, I mean, compared to the Kirby power set.
But Bandana D does a lot of cool shit with the spear. Like he can fly with. He's got a really like advanced moveset with just a spear. It's pretty impressive.
Can he bore a car?
No, but he can stab shit and fly. It's cool. But like if it's just kind of limited to Waddle Dee and then Meta Knight and DDD, then like it'll be like that's cool, but yeah, hopefully it'll be the full power roster as well. But in any case, it's fine. It's a Kirby game and it's working. It's doing what it's promised. It's playing out in a 3D map environment, and it feels more like Mario 3D World than it does Mario, let's say Odyssey or Galaxy. That's the thing to note too, is it feels more like 3D worlds where you're on a set of like almost little play sets connected to each other, and you crawl up a wall or you take an elevator and then you get to the next play set area. It feels more like that than it does the larger of those, like that Odyssey kind of feeling, and that's good. That's good because those games are fun. So all in all, optimistic. I just need to find out what's going to happen with these powers and and how advanced they're going to be. The big sword ability when leveled up in this was like barbarian Kirby. He had like the giant great sword, fuzzy like collar, and like a big warrior helmet. And I was like, yeah, that's fucking cool. I'm down with that. I like this energy. So, mouthful mode aside, there was things to look forward to.
It's
Also,
still just
also
so upsetting.
when you're in mouthful mode, you maintain the ability that you've previously eaten as a little helmet sitting on top. So, if you're like the cone and you have like the bomb ability, the little bomb hat sits on top of the cone as you like flop
Okay, I
around
have a
and stuff.
question. When you're in the car, where's the hat sit?
I didn't see it on the car because that was like one of the
Because
the early
if
ones.
it's on the top of Kirby's head,
Might
it
be
would
on
be
the
at the
top.
front of the car. And if it's the back of Kirby, that means it'd be on his asshole.
I think it might be on the top, but I can't confirm where it was there. I don't think I saw it.
All right.
Yep. So Kirby's coming along great.
I bet he is.
I mean, this might be revenge because the what was there? There was recent news about how one of like there was one of the directors of one of the older Kirby games had never had a face like and had never had a photo of his face taken until recently.
Right.
Someone dug up like an old book and got an example of him, and so basically, yeah, the director of the Dark Matter trilogy, Shimomura, for the first time has been depicted, and maybe that wrath is being carried out upon us today. Kirby's a weird franchise because, outside of the basic idea of just like Hal being like, yeah, let's make some cute stuff, and you like thinking of, Iwata and Sakurai and all these people having fun back in the day. But that's like, oh yeah, there was an era of Kirby called the Dark Matter trilogy, and then during that time there was a director, but nobody knew what he looked like, and he had no public image. He was just a mysterious person, and people have literally theorized that he might be a cover name and or like a collection of other people that don't want to be credited. It was a big old weird thing, and like now there's a face and they're like, okay, well that's what he looks like, but it doesn't explain the things we
like
don't know.
we're unironically one step closer to like Kirby opening up his mouth and like an arm, just like a regular arm with like a gun coming out.
I think we're going to hit a point in the future, not too far from now, when it'll be time to like look back on this franchise, and like you're gonna need like a Netflix documentary to really just bring people up to speed with like what the fuck, what's happening with Kirby, where you like people who haven't been looking in are just gonna see some stuff, and it's gonna get really get really, really weird.
I have a question.
You have many questions.
Okay, I have a question. Let's say Woolie looks at a guy. No, Kirby, you're Woolie. Hello. Kirby looks at a guy named Bob, right? And he's like, "Hey, Bob, boyo," right? And Bob's like, "What's up, Kirby?" And Kirby's like, "Why don't you climb in here?" And then absorbs all of Bob and becomes like a Kirby suit for Bob. And Kirby's just walking around with Bob inside him, and he's like man power, right? Or whatever, right? He's Pink Man there. Somebody said in chat, Pink Man. Okay, and then Kirby goes to a bar and hits up a young lady, right? And they go back to the house to have relations. And then Kirby opens his mouth, and then Bob's junk comes out of Kirby's face, and then the girl get pregnant. Whose baby is that?
Well, excellent question. Here's the thing. It all depends on whether or not Kirby has swallowed. I'm assuming that he didn't swallow because if he did, Bob would have turned into stars, and Kirby would have become the new Bob. That's not
Right.
what happened, right? Because you see,
You go, well, no, Bob's a tall guy.
right, but it doesn't matter how tall he is, because if Kirby swallows
Well,
Dr. Mario and then
he's too big. He's too big as a person to be swallowed
the
because
point
he's as big
remains
as a
is Kirby
car.
swallows Dr. Mario, and then he swallows, and now he walks out of the office and says, Sharon, send in my next patient. Because now Kirby is Dr. Mario, right?
Right.
But and then there's the star of whatever he created inside his gut that gets spit out. However, in order for Bob to remain inside of Kirby undigested, then that would have to be mouthful mode, right?
Saw the worst. I just saw the worst comment scroll by, which was that I've accidentally described the plot of Son of the Mask.
Sure. Now, you want an answer to your question. I assume that's why you asked it.
I don't care. I just wanted to make people upset.
Okay.
As upset as I was when I thought of this.
Well, now you're getting an answer. Too bad. Fuck you. So the not swallowing of Bob, but the ability to have his dick stick out at that point implies that he is in mouthful mode, and as it stands, we've only seen mouthful mode apply to inanimate objects, right?
Right.
We've only seen it apply to a car, a pylon, a vending machine. We don't know how it interacts with living creatures and flesh just yet. It might just be a head crab situation, but we don't know for sure.
So what's the over under? Unironically, this is not me fucking around. That like Kirby tries to eat like a giant crab or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then becomes like a crab shaped Kirby.
Well, because in the past he has then just swallowed it and he becomes a Kirby with a little crab cosplay on him, right? That's the deal. The deal is whatever he swallows, if it's got powers at the very least. If it doesn't have powers, then it just gets swallowed and Kirby doesn't care.
And doesn't everything have powers to some
No,
degree?
no. Those foxes, those normal enemies, unremarkable enemies in on Popstar, don't have powers. They just get swallowed and become nothing.
God, that sucks.
Yeah, they get spit out as stars. But not everybody has a power to give Kirby. Not everyone is worthy of his hunger. So those that are will grant him an ability, at which point then he becomes cute Kirby cosplaying as you. But the idea of, the full organic creature being partially swallowed is brand new territory. We have not explored this yet. And so far as mouthful mode has shown us, it's only technology. It's only machines. So we need to see what happens in the full game.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what we all need to see.
I mean, either you want to know or you don't, but Anyway,
Well, what happened to Kirby if he tried to swallow a slightly larger car?
oh well, he's gonna grow faster than he's gonna grow larger.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah. I mean, there's an ending where Kirby becomes like humongous as he flies across the planet, carrying all the food that was stolen.
Okay.
So he can become like fucking balloon sized and lift a fucking castle. I mean, make no mistake, the size is not the issue. All right. So anyway, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, available soon. Looks like it's going to be a fun time.